This video is in response to mega-tsunamis that smashed into New South Wales, a video by OzGeology. The poor bugger had to use some AI-generated images of telltale signs of tsunamis. So the chief purpose of this video is to show you what these things actually look like. My name is Andrew Mitchell. I'm a botanist, ecologist and a university-trained geomorphologist, and I have been looking for signs of tsunamis for quite a long time now. For me, looking for things that hurt people like tsunamis and landslides is personal. I used to be a consultant to the development industry, and gradually I began to see the signs of major natural disasters and no longer wanted to put people in harm's way. All the images that follow come from near Pretty Beach at Kealoha, which is south of Jervis Bay and is in the centre of the area that OzGeology's examined for tsunami sign. First thing that caught my eye was the absence of large rocks that had fallen off the cliffs onto the rock shelves below. There were a few large rocks that had recently fallen, but I suspect that either a tsunami or powerful storms have swept the fallen rocks to the beaches at the end of the rock platforms. I can tell that these rocks have fallen recently because they have sharp edges. Over time, erosion reduces the size of the rock, erodes the surface of the rock away at a rate of between 0.5 millimetre and 1 millimetre per year. So the edges get eroded from both sides, from the top and from the side, so the edges tend to get rounded off pretty quickly. Just south of Pretty Beach is O'Hara Island, which is a very flat island, quite small, and perhaps has some of the best signs of tsunamis that you can find. One of the signs is the presence of large boulders present on the top of the island. Now, the top of the island is well above high tide level, so whatever put those boulders there was very powerful. On the next inlet, which is at Kealoha, I did see a set of rocks that were perched up high, and I wondered if a tsunami had also placed those rocks there. The next feature I want to look at is imbrication. So imbrication is when large flattish stones have been placed so that they fit together. They're not stacked on top of one another. They are not leaning against one another. They're sort of fitted into a flat surface like the bed of a river. Some of the stones weigh more than 30 tonnes, which is too big for cyclones or storms to move, and only tsunamis can move such big stones. These next photos show Musselbrücke, which is a ripple that is created in stone bedrock by strong water flows. And the Musselbrücke pictured here are at Taylor Point, and I believe they were used by Dr. John Knott to indicate that a tsunami had affected the area. The next feature to cover is Sigelwonnen. Haven't heard of these before, and they look a bit like rock mills, which is when you get a heavy rock that is rocked backwards and forwards by the wave action and ends up grinding away the bedrock and creating a deep bowl-like feature. So I think these photos are rock mills, although in many of them I could find no rock. The rock platform is made from mudstone, and if pieces of rock platform are lifted up, it tends to follow straight joint lines. Cavettos look like an orange has been used to push down into wet cement. There were hundreds of cavettos on O'Hara Island, and the other thing shown in the AI-generated image are drop stones, which are large stones that fall from the bottoms of icebergs. I'm not convinced that cavettos are necessarily tsunami sign, as rock platforms and other features can also be created by frosts and salt jacking. Floating is seen on coral reefs and is a sign of a high energy, high wave energy environment. I found some flutes at Pretty Beach, but they're probably not the best examples of their kind. I've also been to nearly all the places that are mentioned in the video, and I have seen the striped vegetation for myself. Actually, I'm a botanist, so it's one of the first things I pay attention to, and I am not convinced that the streaks in the vegetation are related to tsunamis. I think they're just related to the prevailing strong winds. So unless there's some further evidence, such as geological control of vegetation, I'm going to reject this particular point. To conclude, there are many things that look like tsunamis but are not, so you need to be careful and judicious as to how you apply the evidence, and thanks for listening.